Hello all, welcome to our video. In this video, I'll be talking all about the unit of foundations of psychological practice. While a student is pursuing his or her bachelor's in psychology, while it is important that he is aware about all the psychological concepts, it is very important that they're aware about the ethics APS code of ethics, career planning in the field of psychology, also evidence practice in the field of psychology. This unit is primarily designed for making the students aware about the code of ethics that needs to be adhered by the researchers in the field of psychology, along with the evidence practice and career planning in the field of psychology. The assessments are designed in such a manner that by the end of this unit, the researcher, the student, is prepared for conducting research in the field of psychology while adhering to the APS code of conduct along with the 5-step decision making model to case studies. So let's get started, and you'll be knowing about all the assessments, their weightage, and the ways to attempt these assessments in this video. So let's get started. So before talking about the assessments that come under this unit, I'll be talking about the career learning outcomes of this unit. The first and the foremost learning outcome of this unit is ethical decision making. A psychologist needs to be aware about the ethics that are to be adhered to according to the different client scenarios, case scenarios, before pursuing career in psychology. So this unit makes the student aware of those ethics by making them learn the APS code of ethics and 5-step decision making model. The second learning outcome of this unit is scientist practitioner model that makes the student aware about how to identify misconceptions in different scenarios, how to identify evidences, and how to analyze those level of evidences, and how research can inform practice, that the student will be aware, be skilled to identify misconceptions, and will be skilled to identify that what should have been done to solve the problem of the client in a psychological scenario. So this is the second learning outcome. The third learning outcome is case formulation, in which the student will be asked to utilize frameworks like 4Ps: predisposing, precipitating, perpetuating, and protective factors to analyze client scenarios. So different client scenarios will be given, and the student will be asked to apply these frameworks for analyzing these trends and the misconceptions in the client scenario. The third and the final learning outcome of this unit is career planning, in which the student will be asked to identify a role that he or she will be pursuing in future, and will be asked to identify the skills that they have and they have to develop in order to pursue their careers in the identified roles. This will help the student in making them prepare for their future. So these are the learning outcomes of this unit, and now let's talk about the assessments that come under this unit. So the first assessment is in line with the third learning outcome, that is career planning. So the first 81, which is assessment term 1, is course and career plan, which will be approximated done in 1500 words or 10% ऊपर नीचे, which involves selecting a suitable job role, identifying required skills, qualifications, and planning academic units to meet those requirements. Like I said, this will hold 30% weightage. So in this assessment, you will be given a scenario in which your purpose of this assessment will be to identify a job role that you can pursue in future. For example, you identify a suitable graduate career. Step 1 will be to identify a professional role actually advertised on our employment site. So you need to identify a job description that is shown on our employment site, and you say that I want to apply for this role as a 3-year bachelor degree in psychology. And then you will be then you will be writing a self reflection on why this position is appropriate for you. Then the second step will be to prepare your course and career plan. You'll be describing the role's title, summarizing its key duties, qualifications, and skills to demonstrate your understanding of this. So basically, by this, you will be making your the evaluator learn that you know how to read job descriptions. You will be applying your knowledge to it and demonstrating that you know how to understand what is the actual purpose of that job and why you think that it is suitable for you. Step 3 will be developing knowledge and experience for your career. Then in this, you will be describing 3 elective units you have mapped in your course map and reflect on how you believe the unit will be helpful to develop skills relevant to your chosen role. Next step will be to describe 3 skills, experiences required for your chosen role that you will not have acquired from your university and will require extracurricular experience. So in this step, you need to highlight your one of two, three your weaknesses that you still need to work on to become suitable for the job description that you had highlighted at in the beginning. That I believe that I should be more empathetic. I believe I should develop my communication skills more in order to properly communicate with the client in my with the clients, with the patients, with the people I am talking with the people I'm interacting to. So you need to highlight the weaknesses and you need to highlight it how will you be developing those skills, what extracurricular activities you will be doing in order to adapt to these skills to be better at the job that you had demonstrated. Also, you'll be highlighting the units that you have already covered in your college and this surely helped in the demonstrated role. The fourth step will be professional self-representation, in which you will place yourself in the mindset of a bachelor graduate intended to apply for the chosen role. So you'll be writing a cover letter in this step 4, and you'll be referring to your interest in the role, education level. So you'll be writing everything for like a cover letter is a message that you write to your employer that why you think that you are suitable for the role. In that you write everything that why you are interested in the role, what is your education level, what makes you suitable for this role. So step 4 will be this. So in this entire assessment, you will be demonstrating your strengths that you have adapted to, you have learned through the units that are in this unit. So you have learned them and now you are ready to pursue a career in the demonstrated role. Also, you will highlight the weaknesses that you intend to acquire through extracurricular activities and you will write them that what will you pursue in order to inculcate those skills that will make you better at the desired role. So this is the entire assessment 1 that will make you ready for writing a cover letter, for reading a job description, and also you'll be acquiring different skills that will surely make you job ready. So this is the entire purpose of assessment 1. The assessment 2 is case analysis on ethics. Like I said, the entire purpose of this unit is to make you career ready. So while you are doing research in psychology, it is very important that you have a complete understanding of ethics. And the second assessment does that for you. This has 30% weightage and it requires you to do a critical analysis of ethical issues in case formulation, focuses on applying the APS code of ethics. So students will be identifying ethical dilemmas in a case study, analyzing them using relevant ethical principles, proposing professional justified actions. So like the purpose says, you'll be given a case study. You need to identify what has been done wrong, what are the ethical dilemmas in the case study, what should have been done, what are the ethical principles that should have been followed, and you will be proposing justified actions in the last. So some of the ethical consideration for A2 case analysis will be informed consent. So it is very important while you're conducting research that though your participants are informed about the purpose of the research, they should be knowing what you will be doing with the information that you have acquired from them. So first principle is informed consent, then is confidentiality, that you will respect the privacy of your clients while identifying limitations, competence, acting within the scope of one's knowledge, professional boundaries, documentation, and ethical reasoning. So all of these are ethical considerations that you will be considering while doing your assessment too. So on the screen, I'm showing you one of the examples of A2, in which you will be asked. This task has to orient you as a practitioner the requirements of your client. First, you need to identify and address any ethical issues in the case. So this is an example. So you are given a case, and in the first question of this case, you need to identify and address any ethical issues. So the entire word count of this example task is 800 words. So the first question needs to be performed in 500 words, that how to make ethical decisions. You need to identify the ethical mistakes and then to propose justified actions. You need to clearly identify the ethical issues in the case, then generate possible courses of actions, then choose, justify the most preferred course of action. These are three parts of this first question, and you need to write all these parts in 500 words. The second question that like I said, you will be learning the 4P model framework for case formulation. You need to apply that model in this question. You need to formulate your case, explain how the various factors contribute to the client problem in 300 words. So this is assessment 2, that will make you learn how to analyze case, how to apply ethics to different case scenarios and propose justified actions for taking ethical decisions. So this was the assessment 2. The final assessment that comes under this unit is assessment 3, which is evidence-based practice quiz that holds a total weightage of 40%. The final assessment comprises 30% multiple choice questions and 10% short response questions. So 10% के आपको short response आएंगे, 30% के बाकी के आपको MCQ questions आएंगे. So some of the key areas that you need to focus on while preparing for this assessment 3 is that you should be aware about the 5 A's of evidence practice, that is asking, acquiring, appraising, applying, and assessing evidence. PICO framework, that is formulating questions, how to ask questions to your patient, how to identify the problem through those questions, how to compare different answers, how to come to the outcome. Ethical decision making, how to apply APS model to different case scenarios, and everything about the case formulations according to the 4P model. So some of the preparation tips will be: review the 2024 case analysis worksheets for guidelines on how to structure answers, and practice searching for literature using PICO to create but not necessarily run search queries. Ensure you understand how to apply the APS code of ethics in ethical scenarios. So this was it about all the assessments. So all of which I could learn through these guidelines is that APS code of ethics and 4P model that is required for case formulation, and understanding how to apply ethics in different scenarios in the field of psychology is very essential for this unit. And by this, you will be able to complete your assessment 2 and assessment 3 very effectively. While in assessment 1, you should be aware about your weaknesses and strengths, that how you have developed your strengths with the units that you have learned, with the weekly seminars that you have learned under this unit, and how you will make yourself suitable for career. So this was it. In this video, you have learned about all the assessments. While I was discussing about all the assessments, if you have any queries, any concept that you could not understand or you want to understand better, write down in the comments. I will be happy to help. Thank you so much.